this is Sims, and we are back with more London Detective Mysteria, and we're still in Watson's route. I feel like we've been here forever. I'm not really complaining, because I like Watson, don't get me wrong, but I'm just like, holy crap, I feel like this is taking forever. Like, I think it's really more that I was, like, expecting, like, okay, we'll have, like, one part we skip, and then, like, maybe, like, 2 parts, and I'm like, what have we been here for, like, 6 days? Like, it's taken me way longer to record this than I thought it would, like, honestly. Because, like, I don't have a lot of time. Like, I'm doing a lot of stuff, so I only really record, like, one thing a day, or sometimes, like, I don't get to record, and I'm like, ah! I'm not doing good with... I was so much better when I just recorded all of the time, and we had 4 things going up a day. Like, we had a Sims thing and 3, like, Otome games going up. Now that we have, like, 1 Otome game going up, like, a day, I don't know how to manage my time. I guess because I'm, like, more relaxed. Like, oh, I can clean, I can straighten stuff up, I can do this, I can do whatever. Like, I don't have to record today. Oh my god, I'm so behind! It's really just because I wasn't anticipating this taking as long, and I'm like, crap, I don't have the stuff for, like, next week. Well, okay. This is, like, way ahead, but the stuff that came out, I don't even know what day this is going up. I really don't. But I was like, I need to do this, and then we'll go back to Code Realize and do, like, a path, and I'm just, like, so behind. That stuff for Code Realize is going to come out before this, and I didn't plan really well. I'm failing. I'm so failing. Stuff will go up. You'll never even know that there was a gap, but it's still like, ah, crap. So, welcome to my life. Anyway, I'm guessing, I mean, I'm just guessing here that we should, because he's already confessed his love to us. We're in the last chapter. This should be the end of his part, and then we'll do a little epilogue, and then, depending on how long that goes, we can do the bad ending. But I'm really thinking that if this is at least like a half hour or more, that's it. We'll do the bad ending in its own part, because I thought in Holmes's part, we managed to get through to the bad ending in one part. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we had to split it. Anyway, we'll see what happens. So, well, that's no good. It really has gone late. Watson had flipped open his pocket watch, and seeing the timepiece, I couldn't help but feel a sense of sadness at his departure loomed. Do you truly have to go? I do. Wouldn't want to overstay my welcome and raise Pendleton's hackles after all. I mean, yeah. I suppose, but let me see you off then. Skip downstairs holding hands, all lovey, and Pendleton's like, what the fuck is this? We stepped out of the room, and I saw him to the front door. Thank you for letting me remain so late, and, Watson hesitated a moment, fishing for his words. This weekend, would you like to join me for a little trip? A little trip? To where? The town of Campden. I've been tasked with an important job, and there's something there I need to investigate. An important job? So it's unrelated to your work with Holmes, then? Yes, it's an assignment given to me personally. I doubt it's a matter Holmes would have any chance solving either. In fact, I'm certain of it. It's a horse thing, isn't it? Or an animal thing. A case that even Holmes couldn't solve? Don't worry. I think with your help, I'll be able to find what I need. Oh my god, are we gonna go on a whole other case? Like, holy fucking shit, it's gonna be... I lied. We're gonna be here for another, like, 6 fucking days. Well, as much as I'd like to, I doubt Pendleton will give me permission. There's no way he would allow me to venture so far away to conduct an investigation with you. No sooner had the words left my lips, however, than I heard Pendleton's voice, because he's been fucking peeping at the door, and he's like bolts downstairs, like, you... Okay. He's been listening at the door the whole time, and then, like, let me see you out, and he, like, flies down the hallway, like, you know, like a fucking ninja. He quiet. He goes and just leaps over the banister from the 2nd floor to the 1st one. Now he's hiding in the corner, waiting for the perfect time to pop out and be like, oh, hey, I just showed up. Not a sweat, nothing. Not a fast heart, no ragged breathing, nothing. Because he's a motherfucking ninja. I love him so much. I see no reason to keep you from going. What did you just say? I told you I see no reason why you couldn't join Watson on his investigation. Really? You're honestly alright with that? I am. Provided, of course, that you stay in the Whitley family home there at least. You can go and give your regards to the family servants that tend to the major there. A major? Who's major? Major who? That's not capitalized, so. I have some business of my own to attend to this weekend, so I won't be able to accompany you directly, but shall follow by train when I'm able. Like, I'm just gonna show up, so keep it in your pants, Watson. Thank you so much, Pendleton. Staying there will bring back so many memories. I can't wait. Oh, that's right. I'm like, why does that name sound familiar? Like, does it come up earlier in the game? It did. It's where she grew up. Okay. That weekend, Watson and I made our way to the Cotswolds. Cotswolds? I can't. As we swayed gently with the train as it clattered along in its tracks, the nostalgic scenery, familiar to me from childhood, filled me with excitement. This is going to take fucking forever. At the end of our travel, we disembarked at the station in Chipping Campden. See, we could have finished that and started here, like on the train in this part, but I didn't really know how long they were going to gab. So, you know, I can't cut. Sometimes I'm like, timing is perfect, and other times I'm like, hey! And then the next part we're like, okay, bye. Oh, God, it was two fucking scenes. It was two little screens. My timing's just not good. Anyway. Located roughly 60 miles northwest of London, it was the town in which I had spent much of my childhood. The pastoral burg was rich in nature, with rolling pastures of sheep free to graze and small homes built of honey-colored brick. Seeing this brings back so many memories. Taking in the scenery was like seeing old photographs of my youth come alive once more before my eyes. It must be kind of nice for the servants that work there, because they're like, bitch ain't never here! Like, she hasn't been there for like, okay, she was there for the longest time. She literally just left and has been like, what, in London for like maybe a year or so? Not even. So they're like, woohoo, we're free. We just got to keep this place clean. There's nobody harping on us, nobody watching us. Just saying. And you didn't think to take like most of the people with you to live in London? Like, that's a lot. Like, you got to be rich. All your servants, just, you're like, I got this house in London that we never use. There's always servants there. I mean, at least Pendleton goes with you. Could you imagine if you had a different Pendleton in this house? So you're like, each house I go to, I have a Pendleton. I don't think I can handle two Pendletons. I'm just saying. I just prefer the one. Anyway, taking in the scenery was like seeing old photographs of my youth come alive once more before my eyes. You still haven't told me anything about the job you're here on. What is it you're intending to investigate? Well, you see, the case concerns my first love, a young lady I met here in this very town. In fact, I think you may even be acquainted with her. An earnest girl who tried with everything she had to save a little deer whose leg was caught in a trap. Okay, I read that weird, but okay. My mouth hung agape in surprise. That means the boy who helped me really was him. Oh, sweet Jesus, you should have figured that out a long time ago. It was you! The boy I met that day was you, wasn't it, Watson? I mean, he said his name was William H. Watson, and you kind of clued. I mean, I'm just saying. It's been days. You should have. Anyway. Yeah, here in Chipping Campden, we met for the very first time. When did you realize it? That I was the girl you had met here? From the very beginning, because I'm smarter than you. You're a fucking idiot. You mean. Yeah, you're dumb. That's right. Ever since our meeting at Her Majesty's party. You were wearing a beautiful dress and other finery, but I was still able to tell immediately that it was you. Though in contrast with your sadness on that date, your smile at the party was beautiful and bright. Even then I wanted to bask in that smile, but I suppose now my desire has taken on an element of greed. Greedy? You? I'm serious. Now I want you all for myself. No, I want all of you for myself. All of you for myself. Well, Watson, I didn't think you had it in you. Before knowing you, I had always been one to yield to others and everything. I mean, literally, because you let Holmes take her away. The fuck, dude, right? Watson placed a hand upon my head and caressed my hair. I couldn't help but feel rather embarrassed, but I felt a sense of happiness and comfort as well and let him go on. I get that. Like, there's a part of me that wanted to be like, seriously? If a man was petting my head, I'd be like, oh, this is nice. But I get it at the same time, because you'd be like, why are you petting me like, you know what, it's nice, I like it. No, it's okay, keep going. But I mean, serious? No, keep doing it. You lost both of your parents at a young age. Her Majesty seemed to be acquainted with your mother, too. Even when I was here, I was always told to stay off your family's land. But I didn't listen, and thank God I didn't. You're the only successor to your family line, raised in relative isolation and secrecy. I had always thought there must be some deeper reason behind your move to London. Why are you so curious about it? Yeah, Watson, why? I told you I came here on an investigation, did I not? I instinctively looked downward. You don't wish to tell me yet, then. That's fine, but when the day finally comes that you feel comfortable sharing with me the particulars, will you promise to tell me the whole truth? Yes, I promise. I gave him a firm nod. Yeah, a completely ordinary man, and as you know, not always the most dependable of sorts. I actually would disagree with you. I feel like he's been pretty fucking dependable. Like, we can always depend on him to show up and save us. I mean, okay, he had that bit of hesitation once, but I mean, like, what? You got, like, you're like 90% of the time you're we're good. That's good. Okay. But if I keep in the forefront of my mind that what I do for your sake, I know I can grow. You were, after all, instrumental in our actions to save Her Majesty's life. Watson reached into his pocket and withdrew something. I want you to have a look after this. But, Watson, his ring. He was holding out the ring Her Majesty had bestowed upon him. It gleamed in the sunlight. But this is the proof that you're one of Her Majesty's detectives. I couldn't possibly hold something so important. That's exactly why I want you to take it. Both my reasons for being a detective and my desire to aid those in need have their root in you. It's prettier than a simple ring of white clovers I gave you back then, isn't it? Oh, but I already have one like this. As far as I'm concerned, they're both equally pretty. And I'm a dick because I don't still have that ring, but I should have saved it and treasured it and pressed it in a book or something forever. But I didn't, I bet. Because I'm a jerk. Anyway, I took out my own ring. Well, if I'm to hold on to yours, if I'm to hold on to your ring, I'd like you to hold on to mine. Oh, they're swapping the queen's rings. It's kind of adorable, actually. Trade then. Yes, one important belonging for another. All right, I think we can manage that. That's fucking kind of adorable, I'm not gonna lie. Watson took a hold of my left hand. Ah! Oh! It's like a fake marriage! It's adorable! Oh! Why are you putting it upside down? Like, why is the crown pointing upside down? The crown should be like, that's weird. I mean, I guess then when you look at it, it's right side up, or if you're flashing your hand and holding your fingers up, it looks right. But when you're walking, it's one of those hard things, you know? You're like, if you hold your hand up, fingertips up, it's right side up. And if you're flashing it to someone that way, it's right side up. But when you're walking or doing anything else, or just like if your hand's on a table and you're looking at it, it's upside down. It's weird. You gotta hold your hand at the... It's things like this that just tweak my brain because I'm like, it's upside down, but wait, certain times it's right side up and other times it's upside down and like, which way does it go? I'm always like, I put my rings on not so that if I'm looking at them, they're right side up, but they're right side up. So if when I'm walking and my hands are down, they're face right side up. So technically, if I were to hold my hand up, fingertips up, it would be upside down because it's not about me. And yet it's weird because when you go to show someone, you're not like, here, I'm going to show you, like, you know, fingertips down, like, look at my engagement ring. Like, that looks twatty if you held your hand out like that. Like, look. Like I'm holding my hand out for you to grab and kiss or something. So, like, you'd be like, oh, yeah, my ring, you know, like. So, I guess I put my shit on back upside down. It's just, see, but then I think, well, then it's right side up, but then it's upside down. But, it's both right side up and upside down. Either way you do it, and it's going to drive me crazy. And fuck, I can't. It's weird. Anyway. So that was just a tangent because now my brain is broken and I can't. It's right side up and upside down, and I don't like that it's both. It can't be both. My brain doesn't want to process that. I'm broken. Anyway. And Spacey, do you know what white clovers signify in the language of flowers? I do. I don't. When I first put that clover ring on your finger, my only wish was for you to smile. But now, I want to make a proper promise to you. Is it promises? I'm assuming it's a promise because that would explain why Natsuki did it to us in Black Butterfly. After all, that's what white clovers signify. Promise. Okay, that was my answer. And I promise that I shall protect your smile, your happiness. This is adorable. And more than that, your heart, your tears, your tenderness, I'll safeguard them all. Watson spoke quietly, but his words were charged with resolve. He then slid his ring onto the ring finger of my left hand. Thank you, Watson. It was difficult not to compare our current exchange with that of a married couple's rings, because that's what we're all doing, and it's adorable. It almost feels like we ought to be at an altar. Oh, you're too young for that. Save it. Okay, wait. What are you, like 17? No, you're probably not in this day and age. You're gonna die when you're 30, so you might as well do it now. Oh, I don't suppose that would be so bad. Quite. Though, that would then make me Mrs. Watson? It's so adorable, because you're in your head, you're like, you're too young to think about marriage yet. But again, they're gonna die when they're like 35. Oh, you know what? No, it's not. It's fine. You're fine. Like back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Nobody lived that long. Yes, I guess it would. Oh. Embarrassed, Watson stammered out a reply. Now it's my turn. I took his hand in mine. Watson, I have a dream, actually. Just a small dream. A dream of what? Whenever I've cried, I've always done so alone. There have been times when I would often find myself quietly weeping as I drifted off to sleep, and even when I awoke the next morning. And so one day, I slid my own ring onto the ring finger of Watson's left hand. This is so fucking adorable, their little fake marriage. One day, I hope to be the first to greet you in the morning, and the last to say goodnight before you go to sleep. Oh my god, that's so cute. It hurts my heart. Because the one thing of which I'm certain is that, with the man I love most by my side, see, those are the right... See, this is what they should do for all the girls when they make saucer eyes. Kind of like Watson's eyes. He's kind of got the boy saucer eyes, and I dig the boy saucer eyes. It's adorable. It's pretty. Right? It's pretty. We'd look pretty if we had boy saucer eyes, not the legit, holy fucking shit, what the fuck is wrong with your face, saucer eyes? I don't like it. We'd be prettier like this. I'm just saying. Whether or not that qualifies as a dream, it's something I'll continue to hope comes true one day. Spacey, please. Aww. I've earned a trophy! Sketch artist? Why? And why was Pendleton in that trophy? Is Pendleton watching us? Creep. Suddenly, a blushing Watson swept me up into his arms. For shame, saying such adorable things with such an innocent and hopeful face. What? Now, no matter how much it must be accomplished, even if I have to steal you away from home myself, I feel obligated to make certain that dream comes true. I think we might need to call upon the speed of your noble steed, Platinum Rain, if we're to make our grand escape. I can't argue with that. I think that plan would get us more than simply a stern lecturing from Pendleton, though. Because Pendleton's about to jump out of the bushes and be like, I heard that and I'll kick your ass if you hurt her. But even then, I'd still do it. Watson lifted his hand to stroke my cheek. I'm really surprised Pendleton hasn't jumped out and fucking ruined this moment, but that's what my job is. Watson? His gentle touch and warm expression caused my heartbeat to quicken. Actually, come to think of it, there is something I've yet to ask you. Are you going to propose? Oh my god, is he going to propose? Guys, if he doesn't propose, I'm going to lose it. Oh, you've already kissed me, though. But can I kiss you? He spoke softly with a slight trembling in his voice. That's so adorable. Even though you've already kissed me and we pretty much just got married, but his words, his touch, all told me how nervous he must have been. Yet to see his innocence and propriety fully revealed warmed my heart all the more. Never before had I wished to respond to another's feelings as I did in this moment. Yes. My goodness, my goddess has smiled upon me after all. Honestly, you needn't tease me. That was no tease. I was being serious. I looked up at him, at his face that bore no sign of taunting or guile. I hope to remain by your side forever. At the breaking of every new dawn, in the dusk when tears tug at your heart, to protect you from the frights of the dark night, and stand tall with you during the good times. All of it. As he spoke, he placed his hands upon my shoulders, drawing me to him. Gently, peacefully, we exchanged a kiss with one another. It's not the first time, but okay. I'm just saying. As we did, I felt the strength in Watson's arms. I entwined my arms around him, hoping to show how blissful I felt. Our rings, this kiss, it truly was like a little wedding. Just the two of us. Pendleton is going to be so pissed. No matter the unease I might feel in the days to come, no matter how lost I might find myself, or find my eyes welling with tears, Just love this. He's like, hey, what's up? And he's like, I swear to fucking God. And yet your eyes are like, hey. Because he's the pretty bitch. Like, Watson's adorable, though. I would no longer face such troubles alone. I would have Watson at my side, a man who accepted me for who I had always been. That thought alone was enough to conjure a smile. Together with Watson, I knew I could overcome any pains, any sadness, no matter how large it might loom. And in his strong, kind arms, I truly felt that I had found a happiness like no other. Aww. Watson's ring, proof of my promise with Watson, and a memory of the moment we shared in childhood. I was reading that, I missed the trophy! Whatever. The door to a new story, Crossing the Stars of Dawn, has been opened in the extras section, which must be Watson's story. We did do the Holmes one, right? Why do I not remember doing it? Alright, so we're gonna let this play. Although what we should have done is done those extras with the voice acting on at the end. Yes, that we did do the Holmes ones, because that's the one where he was making out with us on the couch, right? Yeah. Okay, we got that. Is this the same end, or does it... I don't remember. I thought pictures... Okay, yeah, they do. I was gonna say, I thought... Or... Oh, wait, is this the... It's generic, but we can't skip it? This is really loud, but my... Yeah. We can now. Okay. We couldn't the first time. It's generic. It's not Watson. It's everybody. They're usually... Yeah, so, okay. All right. It's not rewards, right? No, that's that stuff. It's the epilogues. Yeah, I want to see something. I just want to see something. I want to see if we did this. I'm pretty sure we did. Don't... Shh. Guys, close your eyes for a second. Yeah, we did. Okay. Whoops. Yeah, because it shows red as like... Let's go back to the exit. Yeah, title screen, that's what we want because that's where we were. Okay. I thought we did already, and I was like, I'm pretty sure we did. Okay, here we go. Now you can open your eyes again. Crossing the Stars of Dawn. Like, the titles are funny. The Walworth district in the center of London. Fog hung thick in the air of the graveyard, and the darkness served only to make it that much more eerie. Interesting. My hands were covered in sweat, a lantern shaking from side to side in one of them. Its light almost made the gravestones look as though they were wriggling and alive. Wait, are we... Okay. Hold on. Shush, phone. I don't know who you are. People always... Like, telemarketers always try calling with my same area code like they think I'm going to answer. I'm not stupid. If I knew you, your number would be in my phone. I know it's not, bitch. This should be the spot, but... I raised the lantern up into the air and timidly surveyed my surroundings. Then... What was that? I heard something from behind one of the gravestones. A cold sweat ran down my back. I took a single breath and drew closer to where the sound had come from. All of a sudden, a black shadow jumped out of the darkness. A cat, illuminated by my lamp. Its cape was covered in dark red stains. Cape? Calm down. I need to step back and calm down. I felt an unpleasant warm sensation on my cheek, almost as if a blood-covered hand was touching me. Are you okay, Spacey? I'm assuming it's Watson. Yeah, like, what the fuck is with her hair? Like, it's like short all the way around and long. I hate this. Why do you do this? What is with the stupid bob mullet? Oh. Anyway. He's like, what the actual fuck? Like, he's terrified. He's scared. He's scared, and he's like, I am so bored. And Holmes is like, I mean, seriously? Before I knew it, Watson had appeared out of nowhere and taken me tightly into his arms. What is actually going on? And just what do you think you're doing, Watson? Yeah, come on. You're supposed to be scaring her, not jumping out and hugging her. In front of all of us, too. Wait. Yeah, what the fuck? She looks like unimpressed. Look at her. She's having a grand old fucking time. What an asshole. Yeah, look at Holmes. Holmes is like, for fuck's sake, buddy. I'm sorry. I just did it without thinking. And two people embracing one another in a graveyard at night. I could hardly think of something more inappropriate and shameful.
I suppose it's no surprise, though. When it comes to Spacey, Watson always loses sight of everything else.
You're right. He's like a big dog rushing over to his master. One in need of some disciplining, too.
But I think he's rather brave, rushing right to her aid like that.
Do you have nothing better to do with your time than... I can't do his voice right. What am I doing? Well, I don't know what happened to his accent. All right, I don't know. I literally just, I'm reading it, I'm like, that's not right. But like, do you not have nothing better to do with your time than tests of courage in a graveyard? Okay, I can't do it. You know, I can't. I don't know what's happening, why I can't read that, why I can't do Jack's voice right now. Just pretend that didn't happen. Anyway. You're such a good friend to be accompanying us if you think this is a waste of time. I'm surprised. Did something happen to you while you were off school? Now, it's all in good fun. Besides, Mr. Mackenzie gave us a perfectly good reason to be doing this. It's to toughen us up as detectives. Back when I was younger, I used to often take part in tests of courage in graveyards. That's where I met my girlfriend. Because he just reminds me of the fucking teacher in Nameless. Fucking... the nurse. What the fuck was his name? I can't remember it. Oh my god, this fucking skeleton. Oh, dear god. Same voice I gave him to. But I was always one of the ones doing the scaring. Because you're creepy. I'd always get scared and lonely when I was waiting for the others to come. One time when one of my friends finally arrived, I was so happy that I jumped out at them and made them faint. My special... Konyaku? Yeah. I can't say that in his voice. My special Konyaku is pretty awesome though, huh? I take it that was what touched my cheek earlier then. I apologize on his behalf, Miss Whitley. I only wish that he could be so enthusiastic about his studies. Still, that was quite the screech earlier. It was so loud that I could see us getting noise complaints from the dead Mrs. Scream. Ugh, I'm so ashamed. Well, the task was to sign the note hidden in the graveyard and decode the cipher indicating a hidden location all on our own, so...
Considering Watson jumped in before she could, I think Spacey gets a fail here. Yes, you're right. She did so well, though. I just got lost, fell over, and then gave up.
I fucking love Lupin. I love him so much. Oh god, he's such a sad little nerd, but you know he's not. It's just an act, and that's why I love it. I'm so sorry, Spacey. It's my fault you failed. See, why is it that he looks like he's drawn so differently in these epilogues? It was the same in Holmes's. He looks so... There's something about him that just looks different. I don't know. Watson gently relaxed his grip on me. He had grown noticeably taller in these past few months and was even more sturdily built than before. His kind eyes and warm voice were the same as ever, though, albeit both replaced by a look of dejection right now. No, it's my fault for lacking in composure. Besides, I was really relieved when you came for me. Thank you. Is it, like, seriously? Like, his hair's got more detail? What is it? It's fucking insane. Like, am I crazy? Like, I'm the Like, is it supposed to be, oh, he looks older? Because he does, doesn't he? Like, and, but Holmes didn't look any different. None of the other ones look different, but he does. It's like somebody different drew him for the epilogues. And they're like, I kind of drew him, and you're like, nobody looks not, it's like Watson's older brother. Like, it's weird. Anyway, you don't need to thank me. I just can't stand back and do nothing when you're scared. I mean, I like it. It's cute. Don't get me wrong, but it's just weird because it's like, this is like man Watson, and that was like, we had cute, adorable boy Watson, but like, why don't we get like man everybody else? Like, everybody else still looks cute and adorable. Like, they look the same, and like, he's the only one that grew up. It's just weird. Anyway. I'm sorry, though. I think I probably hugged you a bit too tightly. I didn't hurt you, did I? I'm fine. You worry too much. Those two really are something. Ha! Amazed they can be so lovey-dovey even in the middle of a graveyard. Love stops nothing. Can I go home now? That was a little better. I just can't do long lines with this, I guess. The people of London love discussing rumors of ghosts. The ghost ship on the River Thames, the headless lady in St. James's Park, the monk without a foot in the Church of St. Bartholomew. Supposedly, the shops of Piccadilly have seen their goods moved around by a poltergeist, too. Are we going to go on a ghost tour? Because I love it. There's another new ghost story here. The ghost of Catherine Howard appears in Hampden Court Palace. Thinking of her former lover, she performed a nostalgic dance. The ghost of. The former queen is something of a celebrity amongst ghost fans, so it's no surprise her name would come up. There have been stories of her appearing in the palace for quite some time. Supposedly, she tried to run away from her executioner in the tower, who had to swing his axe 4 times before she finally died. She must have quite a strong attachment to this world and her fucking head. 4 times? I think that calls into question how good the executioner was at his job, to be honest. I quite agree. Fear not, though. I'd be sure to swiftly slay my target in a single blow. I know you would, because you're just that good. Pendleton! I would never ask you to do anything so violent. He's like, you wouldn't have to. You never know what the future holds, my lady. I would never have expected to find you reading such a low-quality magazine, either. I can't say I'm a fan of rumors like this, either, but I do think there's a truth to be found among all the lies. An interesting perspective. I see the experience of crying in the middle of a graveyard has matured you slightly. I didn't cry. Watson came for me right away, after all. I'll praise him for coming to your aid right away, but if he can't even stay when told to, he's not even fit to be your guard dog. It's still too early to be leaving you in his care. Don't speak of him like that. He's not a dog. He's my boyfriend. I couldn't help but feel embarrassed when I realized what I had just said. Right, you stuttered over it. As if to try and avoid him noticing how red my face had become, I hurriedly started looking through the magazine, but then... Oh, this! What is it? Oh, it's nothing. I'd like another cup of tea. As you wish, my lady. After I was sure that Pendleton had left the room, I looked once more at the article that had bothered me. Back from hell, the ghost of Colonel Moran appears to terrify the citizens of London. Wait, did we kill him? I don't remember killing him. Did we kill him? I don't think we killed him. Watson fought with him, but I don't remember him dying. Anyway. But he was arrested at Richmond Park and locked away in the Tower of London. Again. Wait, though. This is the second time you've locked him in the Tower of London, and he got out the first time magically somehow. We still don't know how. Like, somebody let him out. But I'm just saying. But he'd been out for a while because he raised Jack as his own, right? Yeah, I raised you, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, he had to have not been in the Tower of London for a long time, so... Nobody knew he was missing for like 15 years plus? Because, I mean, like, okay, just think maybe Jack was really little when he found him. So, even if it was only like, oh, it's only been 10 years. He murdered our parents. He somehow ended up there. So, let's just say he should have been there between anywhere from 15 to 17 years, right? So, we're saying we're about 17. We'll just pretend. I don't know if she said her age, but 16, 17, close enough, right? So, like, even if he got out... Nobody knows he's been missing for like a decade? And then now he's back. Hi, he got out of the Tower of London somehow. You probably should not put him back there. Just saying. Do you have anything that's more max security than that? Because that seems pretty lax in security, is all I'm saying. Max security, not lax security. Anyway. All of a sudden, I felt a faint twinge of pain in my left shoulder. I continued reading. He's been frequently sighted in the Bishopgate ward of London since last month. His blonde hair, military uniform, and hawk-like piercing eyes the same as ever. He swaggers silently through Rose Alley at night before disappearing without a trace at the end of a blind alley. What could this mean? I like how that just faded into blackness as I was reading. He couldn't have broken out of the tower, could he? Is he planning something again? Maybe he's actually dead. Just then, Pendleton returned to the room with my tea. What about your tea, my lady? I don't need it anymore, thank you. I want to get a carriage ready. I need to go and speak to Holmes and Watson about something. All right, I'll do it right away. He's like, I just made this fucking tea, bitch. You're gonna drink the tea. He knows when to, like, just let us be the master of the house. The carriage quietly proceeded along the streets of London under a grim, cloudy sky. Eventually, we arrived at Baker Street, and desperately suppressing the impatience that I felt, I stepped down onto the pavement. I didn't expect you to be in there, Miss Whitley. Holmes, what's in all those bags? I turned to face him and caught sight of a number of large sacks in his hands. Scotland Yard found and seized a large quantity of elixir from an unnamed warehouse in Battersea. They've let me borrow some of it. Elixir? That's a calming and pain-killing drug that's dangerous and highly addictive, isn't it? Elixir. An elixir. They're calling it elixir. That gets confusing. That's like saying powder. Powder is a drug like cocaine, right? An elixir is a thing, not... You can't... Anyway. Are you sure you should have something like that? You were aware of it then. There's no end to the number of people willing to turn to crime to get their hands on some. It's a real problem for Scotland Yard. He's like, and I intend to sell this shit. I'm a drug lord. This would be great. I want a version of this game where they give you like all these amazing characters like Holmes, and Watson's like Holmes is like a drug lord and Watson's like a pimp, and like Jack the Ripper's an upstanding citizen. I just want you to fuck this game. I just want you to screw it up so bad in my mind that I'm like, I can't. What are you doing? I just need a game where we're like bad instead of like, we're so cute and innocent. Oops, I tripped. I want to be one where like, I'm going to stab you. Like, I'm tired of being derpy, okay? I'm derpy enough in real life. I don't need to play a derpy character in a game. This is just a very impure powder, but if I can analyze it, I might be able to find out where it came from. Probably. Even so, having this much of it just seems... Is Watson with you, by the way? I've asked him to carry the rest over. I use my brain 10 times more than he does, so he needs to make up the difference somehow. Anyway, did you want something? As you can see, I'm kind of occupied right now. No, it's nothing. I was just passing by, so I thought we might all be able to have some tea together, that's all. Don't work Watson too hard, though, Holmes. Oh, dear God. After saying goodbye to Holmes, I left Baker Street, making my way to Bishopsgate area of London, north of the Thames. The evening streets were lively, full of people who had just finished work. Colonel Moran's ghost was supposed to have been sighted in this area. I was originally going to ask Holmes and Watson for their opinion, but it was possible that Moran could have done something while I was doing so, and I just decided that I would go off on my own to find the ghost of someone who wants to kill me, just in case he's not a ghost and he's a real man who escaped from the Tower of London and actually kills me. Oh, all right, sure. This is what I'm talking about. If I bring him up to Watson, it's going to remind him of what happened in Richmond Park and when I was hurt. You can't protect him forever, honey. I know that was a really traumatic experience for him. I'm the one that got shot. I mean, he shot us, so I kind of understand that. You know what? No. I understand that from his perspective. I don't want to put him through anything like that ever again. So, I don't want him to ever feel like that again, so I'm going to go hunt down the ghost of Colonel Moran. It's probably not a ghost, it's probably Colonel Moran, who's then going to try to kill me, and then Watson's going to have to come, and it's going to put Watson in the same position that I just said I don't want to put him in. God, we're stupid. Walking along the road, I eventually reached the entrance to Rose Alley, the alleyway that had been mentioned in the article. Unlike in the street I had been following, there barely seemed to be anyone in the alley. It was narrow and dark, too. Seems pretty bright. Just as I finally plucked up the courage to step foot inside, though... The flower girl. Hello, pretty lady! How about buying some flowers? They're the perfect colour for displaying in your room! What? No, Right now they're just 10 pence! I'll even include a pink ribbon just like yours! After she mugs us for it. I can only assume this is what people were referring to when they spoke about pushy salespeople. She didn't seem as though she was going to let me leave. What should I do? I feel like if I give in and buy one, she'll squeeze me for every last penny. Hey! All of a sudden I heard a low voice from behind me. Instinctively I turned around and there stood... Man Watson. Like, seriously? He looks so different! What is it? I don't know. Oh my! Here was me thinking you were just some handsome stranger, but it's you, Watson Jr. Watson, is this a friend of yours? Yeah, it's my other girlfriend. Nah, we just fuck every once in a while. I'm just kidding. Well, you could say that. Her name's Johnson, and we do owe a bit to her. Really?
I thought I told you to call me Dolly!
I don't know what I'm doing with the accent. I'm sorry. It's just terrible, but whatever. Have fun. Anyway, Johnson, she's with me, so go easy on her, all right?
With you? Oh, she's your girlfriend, is she? Then you've just got to buy some flowers for her. I'll even bring down my price to a shockingly cheap 8p.
You really are a salesperson through and through. With a sigh, Watson bought a single bouquet of flowers from her.
Thanks! Oh, and I've got something interesting to tell you too. You see...
She whispered something in Watson's ear, and his eyes opened wide. Whatever she said seemed to have shocked him.
Well, give my regards to Holmes, Junior. Good day, young lady.
After saying goodbye, she disappeared into the crowds, looking in high spirits. She's actually an informant of ours. She gives all kind of top-secret info to Holmes and I. But seeing as she's always like that, Holmes never wants to come and see her. So the job falls to me, and every time I come, we end up with more flowers in the office. I just find that adorable. Like, Holmes doesn't want to deal with it, and he comes and he's like, I brought you flowers, Holmes. Watson brings flowers to Holmes. Guys, I ship that so hard, it's adorable. An informant? What? Was what she just whispered to you some kind of top-secret... Ahem. Beep, 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 beep. Back it on up. We're going to do this again, because we fucked that up. An informant? Was what she just whispered to you some kind of top-secret information, too, then? I fucked that up too, but... What? Oh, no, that was... Watson glanced at the bouquet for a moment, then hesitated. He then hurriedly put it away. But never mind that. Why did you not come and talk to me about the Colonel Moran rumor? Wait, so you just bought flowers and you're going to take them to Holmes? Like, I know I just said I shipped that, but like, bitch, I'm your girlfriend. Give me the fucking flowers. How do you... You met Holmes outside the office, didn't you? When I went back there, he told me and said... There was a broken ink. Oh, there was brown ink in the brown area between her forefinger and thumb in her left hand. I'm guessing it ended up there when she was turning the pages of a cheap, low-quality magazine. The kind of newspapers from major publishers that Miss Whitley reads generally use high-quality ink and paper, so the ink doesn't rub off. Brown ink is generally used in mass-market rags instead. I hope she doesn't end up negatively influenced by something she reads in one. I remember that you were trying to look into ghosts and the supernatural to overcome your fear of them, and then when I read that rumor about Colonel Moran myself, it all fell into place. I just didn't want to get in your way. It seemed like the two of you were really busy. Is that really the only reason? Watson had become surprisingly perceptive lately. I like how we're ghost hunting with Watson, but with Holmes, we're basically rolling around on the couch having makeout sessions. Just saying. His calm words, his clear eyes, made it seem as though he could see right through me. I just feel like Watson isn't the type of person to be like, let's get busy on the couch. Like, he'd be like, that's improper, we shouldn't. But meanwhile, Holmes is like, fuck that shit, take off your dress. Holmes is a little improper, is all I'm saying. All of a sudden, a twinge of pain ran through my left shoulder once more. Reflexively, I touched it, then realized what I had done. Oh, Watson, that was... Your wound just hurt, didn't it? No, I'm just a little cold, that's all. My wound doesn't hurt at all anymore. There's no mark to be seen either. I mean, I think Voldemort's back, that's all I'm saying. Oh my god, Colonel Moran is our Voldemort. Fuck off. Phone. What the hell? Anyway. But your memories of when you were hurt aren't just going to disappear. Even if there's no visible mark. Okay, hold on. Even if there's no visible mark anymore, your body and heart will remember the pain they've been through. Is the reason that you didn't come and talk to me because you were thinking of my feelings? Yes. I couldn't find the words to continue, but on the other hand, I didn't want to try to deceive or lie to him anymore. I didn't want to remind you of when I was hurt. I didn't want to see you suffer. In the end, I put my own feelings ahead of yours. That's not true, Spacey. Before I could turn my head completely to the ground, Watson had gently put his big hand on it. Like, I don't know what it is. I like this art style. Like, it's so different. He is so different in the epilogues, and I don't know if it's like literally like somebody else came in to like draw them and just was like, I'm just gonna make him look a little older. But I dig it. Like, I love it. Because it's still adorable, but it's a little less cutesy and a little more detailed, I feel like. I feel like there's a little more detail in this. And it's also a little, I don't know what it is. I feel like the lines maybe are darker where it feels more like a comic book than a game. You know what I mean? It's got that weird like comic book kind of vibe to it to me. There's something about the line art, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, and I dig it though. I wish the whole game was like this. I'm not complaining about the art in the game, but I just like he's actually got a nose. Like we don't have a fucking nose, and I don't like that. It's weird. I thought the same thing about myself at first. That's the only reason I wanted to protect you is because I didn't want myself to be hurt. And I was just trying to pass off my selfishness as selflessness. And that's not true at all. Before I knew it, I was clutching onto his hand tightly. Then, yeah, I think exactly the same about you too. But I want to become stronger. Strong enough that you can feel completely at ease relying on me. I'm much stronger than I am now. So whenever you need me, you just call right on me. If there's anything I can do to help you, I'll be right there to do it. His smile and the warmth of his hand clutching my own made the burden on my chest begin to lighten. Thank you. See what I'm saying? She's he's like a cute kind of almost like comic booky kind of character. Otome comic book character. And she is like creepy kind of chibi doll thing. Like, it's weird. It just doesn't mesh now. And it's bizarre. Anyway, but you're doing more than enough for me already. You must have had work to do for Holmes today, too. Yet you're here with me. I mean, hose before bro. I mean, wait. Yeah, I mean, that's usually what happens. Don't worry. I've got a perfect substitute there helping him in my place. A perfect substitute? Hudson? Wait. Next, I need you to copy down all of the addresses in this address book, and then I need you to organize the documents in the bookcase over there by year. Then... Hold on a minute, Holmes! I can only take so much in at once! Kobayashi, you're my acting assistant. You need to be able to handle this much as if it's nothing. You can't expect that much from me! I'm not your real assistant! I'm just helping out in Watson's place because I happen to be free! See, but they all, okay, I mean... They still have noses, but it's not like they're not as detailed. Like there's something, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it's the lines and the way they're drawn, like, you know, because the hair, it looks, I don't want to say natural, but you know what I mean? Like it's got the dark highlight. It doesn't have dark black lines around it. And then Watson has some strict ass, like he just rolled out of a fucking coloring book. And they're like, it's literally like a coloring book or comic book characters like standing there in front of you and like, hey, and you're like, you have outlines for every strand of hair. That's weird. People don't have that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's drastically different art style. I mean, not drastically different, but it's literally like, why the fuck he doesn't fit. Like, what happened? It makes me so curious. Like, they're exactly the same as they are, and like, but Watson is totally different in these epilogues. It's bizarre. Anyway. If you're going to help me, you're going to do a good job of it. This will be training for him too. And this will be training for him too, so show no mercy on him. Or Akechi's orders to me. Gah, I'm gonna make him pay for that. And while I do this, Watson and Spacey are out having fun together. Ugh, you really owe me for this one, Watson. We're having fun. We're hunting down a ghost. We're probably gonna die. Achoo! Are you alright, Watson? Yeah, I think someone's just talking about me behind my back. Anyway, let's keep going. Oh my god, the people talk about me all the time. That's why I sneeze. It's not allergies. Stop talking about me behind my back. We kept walking, making our way to the place where Colonel Moran had supposedly been disappearing. The red brick walls were covered in mud from years of rain and wind, and the surrounding area was deathly quiet. I have a feeling this part's gonna go long as fuck. Oh, this area is churchland, but it only takes one bad turn to end up down a dodgy alley with drug sellers and thieves. Stay close to me. If you notice anything, tell me right away. All right, like, look at her. She's like a cute little, like... I'm trying to think of what it is. It's like an old, like... Oh, fuck. Like an old style of, like... I don't think they were necessarily, like, dolls slash, like, coloring books slash cartoons, something. Like an old style, and I can't think of what they were called. Right, but that's what she's reminding me of. It's like something back from like back in the day, like 70s or 80s or something, like whatever. It's just reminding me of this type of thing. You know how, like, you know, it'd be like, you know, like Scooby-Doo, like it's like that, but it's not Scooby-Doo, like something. She reminds me of these type of fucking like dolls that I think they had like probably like coloring books and cards and like stuffed forks. You know, they did that back in the day. And then he's like something totally fucking different. It's literally like, I cut out a gummy bear and I slapped it on a page with Scooby-Doo, and then I took a person out of a magazine and I just put it all together and it's like 3 drastically, and you're like, what the fuck is this? That's what I feel like she looks like compared to like now Watson. She's worse. She's like one extreme and Watson's the other, and everybody else is kind of in the middle. Because, you know, her face irritates me, but in the CG, she's fine. Usually. She's not as bad as her sprite, but like Watson looks drastically different and it's fucking weirding me out. Eventually, we found ourselves at a dead end. The wall before us rose high into the sky and was covered in mud. This wall sure is tall. I can't imagine anyone being able to climb up there without a lot of difficulty. If the ghost in that story is actually a living person, I wonder how they've been disappearing here. I started to carefully look around. As I tried following the sun's rays, however... I could have sworn I just saw a glint of light in the corner of the wall. Secret door. Watson, look! The gap between these 2 bricks seems to be shining somehow. You're right. There's a strange smell, too. Is this oil? Maybe it's paint of some kind. Paint mixed to be the same color as the mud, or mud mixed with a solvent? You might be right. With the alleyway being this dark, no one would notice the difference. Step back for a second. After a light stretch, Watson put his hands on the wall. He took a breath and pushed hard upon it. A staircase. It leads underground. Pushing the thin stone wall backwards revealed an old, narrow staircase leading downwards. Cold air blew out of it, feeling chilly on her skin. I'm going to investigate where this leads. I'm coming with you. If Colonel Moran has used this staircase, it might lead to somewhere related to Spellbound. We might be able to find something. You should fucking call Scotland Yard, let them deal with it, and go home. Just saying. I'm also just saying because we got like 10 minutes till this part ends, and I don't think you're going to wrap it up in 10 minutes. Sorry, but I really don't think... Please, I won't get in your way. I'm not going to let myself get captured again either. Then just promise me 2 things. 1, that you won't leave my side. 2, that if you notice anything at all strange, you tell me right away. Do you promise? Yes. We slowly began to descend the staircase, trying to keep both our footsteps and our breathing as quiet as possible. With every step, we could feel the cold air permeating our skin. Or our friends put a thing out in an article in a creepy newspaper about Colonel Moran, and this is all to try to scare us. I'm just saying it could be. Because I just don't see how we're going to wrap up Colonel Moran and like whatever, you know. Eventually, we noticed a light flickering on the other side of the darkness. I can hear something coming from inside. The voices gradually grew louder and clearer as we advanced. Then... Oh, nope, you know what? I remember this CG they show in the beginning. It's funny, I forgot that this existed until just now. They show this CG. Look at how... Okay, she's kind of stupid and derpy, like, but because her eyes are too big. But, like, look at how goddamn cute he is. Like, hi, Watson. Wow, you're pretty. Also, well, hello, what are you doing? Holding... He's like, hold on, let me hold you. You should have been in front of us. They show this in the little, you know, intro song. It sounds like the intonation for some kind of spell. That's... Watson and I peered out from behind a pillar. Before us, we could see a disturbing magic circle on the floor, and a group of suspiciously dressed men around it. They all wore black robes, the hoods pulled down so far that we couldn't see their faces. The whole area had an eerie aura about it. Please grant us power. Grant us your crimson guidance. Grant your crimson guidance to us. At the end of our suffering, grant us eternal honor and blessing. Where there's light, there's also shadow. The chosen blood shall enrich the darkness before becoming the foundation of our nation. Chosen blood? Our nation? The air was chilly, and before I knew it, I was clutching my shoulders because of the cold. I feel like I've heard those words somewhere before, but where? What is it, Spacey? No, it's nothing. He looked at me uneasily, and I gently shook my head. I then turned my gaze back to the circle on the floor, but... Oh, they've gone? When? We couldn't believe our eyes. The robed men who were there before were now nowhere to be seen. Uneasily, we looked around, but there was no sign that the men had ever been there. After exchanging glances with one another, Watson threw a pebble in the direction of the circle. We could hear the sound of the pebble hitting the ground, but it was followed by only silence. Where could they have disappeared to? They all just vanished in an instant. There's no way they're ghosts. They had to have gone somewhere. There must be another secret passage connected to here. Shaking off the chilly feeling that hung over me, I approached the magic circle. The red paint that had been used to make it was so vividly colored that it was clearly visible even in the darkness. There's also lights all around, I'm just saying. And it's dangerous to just disappear and leave candles lit. I mean, like, what the fuck, guys? I'll make a record of the design of the circle, too. I'm always doing things like this when I'm investigating with Holmes. Watson said about drawing the circle in his notebook. While he was doing that, something shiny caught my eye. What could that be? Maybe it's something that group left behind. It's Lupin's ring. It was all of our friends. Nope. Okay, it's Chris. I don't know. I'm just saying it. You know what? I wouldn't put it past them. I put on a pair of gloves and cautiously walked over to it. It glistened like a crystal. When I picked it up, though, I realized that it wasn't especially hard. It's not a jewel. Maybe it's a crystal of some kind. Hey, Watson! I found this at the side of the magic circle. What? I couldn't finish what I was saying. Huh? My sense of balance didn't feel right. Strange colors were flashing before my eyes. We're not going to finish this part. My breathing was ragged and my heart beating unusually fast. I could barely stay standing up. No, not another attack. After my parents' deaths, I had occasionally suffered from pseudo-seizures. And they had gradually disappeared during the years I had lived in the countryside, though, and not one had occurred since I came to London. I'd almost forgotten that I ever suffered from them. Because plot convenience. All of a sudden, my mind was filled with red. A knife with blood dripping from it, and a great red stain expanding across the carpet. There, lying on the floor, was... No, why? Why now? I was drawn into the scene that had been burned into my brain. No matter how many times I tried to talk, no sound came from my mouth. What is it, Spacey? What? I didn't even know whether my voice had reached him. Before I knew it, my consciousness had slipped away from me. I mean, we've got to wrap this up somehow, but like how? The wind was strong that night. I awoke to the sound of something strange mixed in with that wind. Feeling uneasy, I hurried to my parents' room. I was sure that seeing their faces would calm me down. But when I arrived at the door, it was already open slightly. Timidly, I opened it further and peered inside. My father was lying motionless on the floor. My mother had a knife piercing her chest, deep red blood gushing out of her wound. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like, oh, he picks us up, takes us, and okay, it ends. There's got to be some kind of way to end it, and it just seems like we're not going to finish this in this part. Like, holy fucking shit. Was Holmes's like that? I don't remember. The sight of them covered in blood caused me to freeze to the spot. I think it did, actually. I think that's the one. Chosen blood, enrich our nation. Someone was inside the room. I wanted to run away, but my body wouldn't do what I wanted it to. Before long, the mansion was engulfed in flames. My memories, my family, were all engulfed in the flames, leaving only me behind. Not true, Pendleton. That's right. It was then that... The newspapers had reported that my parents' deaths were due to the fire. Yet I knew that wasn't the case, and it was to find out the truth that I had returned to London, yet... Does this have something to do with their murder? Why am I understand that, like, there's gonna be some pieces. Like, we're gonna find out little more pieces as we go to unravel the whole mystery of her parents' deaths, which I get. But it's weird, because I'm just like, how is this epilogue gonna end? Like, just as a cliffhanger? Like, it seems weird. I didn't want to remember anymore. I didn't want to see anything. I didn't want to be hurt anymore. Before I knew it, my inner weakness was taking control. I felt so pitiful that my chest began to hurt. I can't give up. Not until I know the truth behind what happened that day. I cast away my fear and my dependency on others so I could find it out. I had told myself that over and over again since I was a child. I'd always tried to ignore the scars that what happened I tried to ignore the scars that what happened had left behind. I get what they're trying to say, but that sounds awkward. Anyway, but now... You don't need to thank me. I just can't stand back and do nothing when you're scared. But I want to become stronger. Strong enough that you can feel completely at ease relying on me. I'm much stronger than I am now. So whenever you need me, just call right on me. If there's anything I can do to help you, I'll be right there to do it. He's so adorable. All of a sudden, I felt something small and hard in my tightly clenched fist. I slowly unclenched it, and there was his ring that I had traded for my own. Watson. As I looked at it shining in my hand, the name of my beloved Watson left my lips. My voice was weak and frail, like that of a lost child. Thank goodness, you're awake! The first thing I saw was a pair of warm brown eyes. Watson? My voice was hoarse. Watson nodded repeatedly to me, still looking concerned. I could gradually feel a sense of weight returning to my body. I was leaning against him. Oh, you're up! That's a big relief! Ryan, to tell you the truth, we've been watching this area for a while. Churches end up becoming hotbeds for crime, surprisingly often. People who aren't sure what to do often end up taking the wrong path, after all. I never thought that you would end up getting here first, though. But only barely. We didn't have an idea what was going on. Why didn't you do something about it sooner? Sergeant, I think they deserve to know the truth. That no one wanted to do anything because of that ghost rumor. That was just you, Lot. I'm not afraid of ghosts. If I was to avoid a job for something like that, I'd be more afraid of Inspector Lestrade's fists. You've heard that a large amount of elixir was seized in Battersea, haven't you? The elixir that we discovered here comes from the same source. Elixir? You don't mean... Yeah, the crystal that you found. It was very pure elixir, too. Ordinarily, you have to actually use elixir for it to have an effect, but pure crystals have been known to turn to gas, too. And that's why they're so dangerous. You can end up receiving its effects passively, like you just did. I see. So that wasn't an attack. He's like, what? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause trouble. Never mind that. How do you feel? You aren't in pain, are you? I'm fine. I'm just feeling a little weak. Never mind me. What happened to those men in the robes? Judging by the words that they were chanting, there was a possibility they could be connected in some way to my parents' murders. Knowing that, I couldn't suppress my own impatience and tried to stand up, but... sorry, Spacey, but I don't believe you're fine at all. But... Before I knew it, he had drawn me into his arms. Your breathing's weak. You're freezing cold. There was no way you're fine. I'm sorry. The words that I had suppressed pierced my chest. Watson told us about what happened here. Scotland Yard is currently working on trying to find where those robed men could have gone. Right now you need to rest. Please leave the rest to us. And that's how they tied it up in a knight's need bow quickly. Afterwards, Watson escorted me back to the surface. The sky above us was pitch black. I must have been unconscious for quite some time. He escorted me all the way to Square Garden. All we could hear was the sound of the trees rustling in the night wind. Since returning to the surface, neither of us had said a word. But I knew that we couldn't stay like that forever. Eventually, I plucked up the courage to speak. Oh, what is it, Watson? No, you can go first. I told you that I wouldn't get in your way, but that's what I ended up doing. I'm so sorry. And if you hadn't caught me earlier, I must have fallen to the ground, too. I might have fallen to the ground, too. She said must have, but... I should be apologizing to you. I knew how dangerous elixir crystals are, and I was right by you, but I couldn't do anything. All the time you were out, I was so worried that you wouldn't wake up, and furious with myself. It's not your fault she picked it up, and I mean, it's not really her fault. She didn't know what it was, so... I was pretty harsh to you earlier, too, so I'm sorry. Watson's head was hanging weakly downwards. Seeing him like that, I couldn't help but relax a little. Before I knew it, I was touching his hand. He gripped it with his own, his hand much bigger and warmer than mine. Let's stop this. You saved me, and that's all that matters. I had no idea that you had experienced attacks like that before. I'm sorry. When I found that elixir, I thought I was experiencing another one. I was really scared. I haven't had one since I came to London, so I let my guard down. I looked up at him and had my breath taken away. He was gazing directly at me, anguish clearly visible in his eyes. It was only then that I realized how tightly I was gripping his hand. This wasn't what I wanted. This isn't the expression I wanted to make him have. I wanted him to smile. But the more I wished for that, the more I felt like the feelings I was suppressing were going to burst forth. The terrifying sight that I had seen while I slept, the figure of Watson that I had seen afterwards, the warmth that I had felt shook my resolve. I needed to get a hold of myself. Desperately suppressing the shakiness of my voice, I forced my words out. Still, you were absolutely right. Even if you think something is completely healed, your body and heart still remember it, even if it was really long ago. You don't have to force yourself to smile, Spacey. Just as I was about to loosen my hold on his hand, he spoke sadly to me. He took me into his embrace so tightly that I was almost struggling to breathe. While you were asleep, you were calling out your parents' names over and over. You sounded like you were in pain, too. Yet, despite all you've gone through, you're still more cheerful than anyone. You really are admirable. Please, please don't spoil me like this. Why? Because I'll really cry. My eyes had already begun to blur over. I could see my own face in Watson's clear eyes. I look awful. That's not true. You're cute even when you cry. Please, don't look at me like this. My tears ran down my cheeks, unable to turn away from him. At the same time, I felt a gentle warmth on my lips. Oh. His arms wrapped around me and our lips touching one another filled the cold night air between us. He was the one who I wanted to be the strongest in front of, and yet I kept showing him myself at my very weakest and most pitiful. My chest tightened and my whole body began to shake. That's not true. You know what? Sometimes even the strongest people cry. Just because you cry doesn't make you weak. I'm sorry. Yet he just kept embracing me tightly, giving me a kiss full of love and warmth. Watson. Oh, we're just laying in the park together. That's adorable. Oh, we're going to make out in the park. All right, I see what Watson's into. The smell of new grass filled my nostrils. Leaning into him, the two of us lay down on the soft grass below, like fresh cut grass. Actually smells so good, so I can just imagine that. I was like, yeah. It felt as though his gentle kiss was touching my very heart. It was like it was enveloping every fiber of my being. I felt so warm, so reassured, and so sorrowful. No doubt because I knew how he felt so much that it hurt. It was a kiss so kind that permeated my whole being like medicine into a wound. I want to become stronger. Our faces were so close that our breath became one. His eyes were filled with warmth and sorrow as he looked at me, causing my heart to beat faster. Once more, he planted a soft kiss on my lips. There was totally a sound effect. I don't know if you heard it, but as he kissed me over and over again, I could feel my heart beating faster and faster. Before I knew it, I had closed my eyes. I hope so. He was like staring at him with your eyes open when you kiss him. That's weird. My entire body felt hot. I tightened my grip on his hand slightly. Under the gently rustling trees, I accepted all of the warmth that he gave to me. This is where it should end, but it's going to be like another 10 fucking minutes. Eventually, the gentle warmth moved slowly away from me. Watson's expression was kind, though tinged with embarrassment. Because we just slept with him in a park! I can't believe it's early morning. Pendleton's not going to be happy with us. What about Holmes? Is he going to be all right with you being away for so long? In response, Watson smiled like the sun. He's got Kobayashi. I'm sure he's fine. He is not very strong, though, so hopefully this whole experience will make Holmes appreciate me a bit more. Oh, who knows? Maybe you'll get back and find he's all up for hiring Kobayashi as his assistant in your place. Hey, don't say that! It sounds scarily believable. I'm only joking. You really are fun to be around, Watson. Especially making out all night in a park. I kind of want the Pendleton scene after this. I couldn't help but laugh. Lying down on the grass like small children, we interlocked our fingers with one another. By the way, I'm gonna have to introduce you to my parents sometime. They both love looking after people, so they'll no doubt be bombarding you with food and questions the whole time, though. That sounds like fun. Still, aren't you cold being out this early in the morning? A little bit. Still. I took his hand and gently moved closer to him. As long as we're holding hands like this, I'm fine. Yeah, me too. And good morning, Watson. Yeah, morning, Spacey. For a moment, he opened his eyes with surprise, but the next, he was smiling happily at me. All right, let me give you these flowers, too. They've started to wilt, though. They've been in his fucking pocket, too! Aww. He presented a small bouquet of flowers to me. Oh, those are the ones you bought from Johnson. Thank you. These are called blue stars. They're often used in bridal bouquets. Look how embarrassed he looks. I want you to take these instead of a promise. The flowers illuminated by the morning sun and Watson's eyes as he gazed at me both looked beautiful and radiant. I wish I could be here like this with you forever. I can't help but feel like I don't want to go back. Sweet fucking Jesus! That is like the perfect place to end it. It's oh, beautiful. And then it's like, okay, so back here, and then we're still oh my motherfucking God. Okay. I'm gonna keep going, but if this is longer than 10 fucking minutes, like, we're done, and I'm gonna have to cut it into 2 parts. This is what happened in Holmes's part. Okay, you know what? From now on, remind me to remind myself to remind you to remind me for you to remind me to remember that fucking do the epilogues in their own goddamn part, because holy shit. Oh my God. Why are they so long? Oh my God. You know what? But then the problem is I'm going to do this and it'll be like 5 minutes. So it'll either be like 5 freaking minutes, and then we'll have I do the whole part in 5 minutes, and then we'll have to do the bad ending after finishing the epilogue, which I don't like doing. Or it's literally going to be 30 more minutes. I don't have time. You know what? I don't have time. We're going to stop here. I'm going to stop here. And you know what? If this is 5 minutes after this, then I'll edit the parts together and you won't even know. It'll be like, ha 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 ha, editing them together. So if this continues after this, then you know why. Otherwise, I'm going to stop it because this is taking freaking we're 10 minutes over time, and I just figured that. I'm like, okay, this kind of seems like the end. It's not. So I love this game, I really do, but it's so hard to get a decent language, and not because this is like, why? How is it like that? Why is it doing this to me? I can't time anything right with this game. It's really just me, like, I can't figure this game out timing wise. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. We'll probably have like 7 more parts because, like, holy shit. So, I'll see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.